And coming up on News 9 tonight, the minority in Parliament is calling out President John Mahama's first year in office, slashing his economic recovery claims as a manufactured miracle.
It's rests on an IMF program we negotiated, fiscal consolidation we implemented, and a global gold boom we did not create.
We hear from Deputy Minority Leader Patricia Appaigyei as she accuses the GoldBod and the Bank of Ghana of financial misdirection in the $214 million loss under the Gold for Reserve program. Also ahead, Ghana Journalists Association welcomes decision to interdict fire officers who attacked a Class FM journalist as they demand the police fast-track the prosecution of the suspects.
For us to hear that some action has been taken, we are all happy, and we pray that the necessary processes will be followed for us to get closure to those cases.
Also in this bulletin, in the first episode of our feature series, Roads of Peril, we take you to Amasaman, where drivers and residents express frustration over the abandoned road network, demanding government intervention.
In the election time, they will come and grade for us. After that, nobody will come here again. They have to fix the road. I think we'll have big push or something. Come and look for this one for us.
In business,
Social Security and National Insurance Trust increases monthly pensions by 10% for this year, pegging minimum payment now at 400 Ghana cedis.
And coming up in sports,
Ghana forward Mohamed Kudus is said to be out for 3 months after picking up injury against Sunderland.
And a bit later, we tell you why more than 16,000 adults died for simply breathing in and out.
Just by living, just by breathing, just by going about your business, you're basically taking years off your life.
You can be a part of this conversation by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 11 11 997. My name is Kenneth Gyasi. Details after this. Thanks for staying with us. A manufactured miracle. That is how the minority in Parliament is describing President John Mahama's performance in his first year in office. Well, the president has been widely commended for what many describe as effective economic management, with inflation falling to 5.4%, the cedi appreciating by about 40%, and fuel prices reducing at the pumps. However, the minority argues that the economic recovery began under the erstwhile Akufo-Addo administration. Addressing the press earlier in Parliament, Deputy Minority Leader Patricia Appaigyei says such currency gains are typical in the first of a new year government.
Success, they say. Victory, they claim. But at what cost? And for what benefit? First, much of the recovery began before President Mahama returned to power. It's rests on an IMF program we negotiated, fiscal consolidation we implemented, and a global gold boom we did not create. Second, the same IMF report they celebrate also warns of quasi-fiscal risk, loss-making gold schemes, and hidden vulnerabilities. They publicize the headlines, they downplay the warnings. And thirdly, a 40% cedi appreciation in 1 year is normal for an economy with our structural weaknesses. It erodes competitiveness, hurts exporters, damages farmers and manufacturers.
That's the Deputy Minority Leader Patricia Appaigyei there, speaking in Parliament earlier today. And meanwhile, the minority has also described the GoldBod and the Bank of Ghana as masters of financial misdirection following a reported $214 million loss incurred through trading operations under the Gold for Reserves program. It is accusing the government of deliberately shielding the program from public scrutiny.
The GoldBod and the Bank of Ghana, masters of financial misdirection. The IMF, in just 9 months, has documented losses of $214 as a result of the operations of GoldBod and Bank of Ghana. GoldBod and Bank of Ghana has responded. On 3rd January 2026, he emphatically denied that GoldBod made any losses. The governor, or the CEO of GoldBod, generated over 960 million in revenue against 120 million Ghana cedis in expenditure, promising a surplus of 700 to 800 million cedis. These are bold claims, but they do not address the core issue raised in the IMF report.
Patricia Appaigyei is the Deputy Minority Leader. My colleague Gemma Apia was at that particular press conference earlier today, and she's joining me in studio with more. Gemma, what more did the minority say?
So the minority touched on a number of issues, including insecurity in the country. They talked about the conflict in Boko and some chieftaincy disputes being recorded in some parts of the country. Then also they talked about illegal mining, referencing the helicopter crash last year that claimed 8 lives. And the state of the country's water bodies. They say these issues should serve as a wake-up call for the government to confront the menace head-on.
On that fateful day of 6th August 2025, 8 citizens of Ghana, including 2 top ministers of state, took to the skies on a mission to confront illegal mining. They never returned. Their helicopter fell from the sky and a nation mourned. This tragic incident should have strengthened national resolve to defend our land, our water, and our children's inheritance. Instead, Ghanaians watch a government that speaks against Galamsey in press conferences while allowing questionable incentives, weak enforcement, and compromised supply chain to persist. This is not merely policy failure, it is betrayal of public trust.
That, once again, is the Deputy Minority Leader in Parliament, Patricia Appaigyei. Let's go into the telephone lines right now and speak to Eric Affle. He's the Chairman of the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament. Grateful for your time this evening. Your colleagues on the minority side are saying that the performance of the government in its first year is a manufactured miracle. Is that something you beg to differ?
Good evening, and let me greet you and greet your good viewers this evening. Let me say that I'm very happy and grateful to the MPP for admitting that our economy is transforming. That alone is enough. Transforming from what they did in 2024 and what we are doing in 2025. After admitting that, I think that ends the story. We all know that our GDP within the first 9 months the growth was even about 6.3%. We are talking about exchange rate as we speak today, hovers around 11 cedis per dollar, which initially 2024 was hovering around 17.8 Ghana cedis. We are talking about debt overhang of 726 billion Ghana cedis. Now, as of September, we have about 630 billion. You see, so these are certain things that show that we are actually transforming Ghanaian economy. So if they are saying that all these things started in 2024, and now the successes should be, admitting to what they did in their term, I think it's nothing here to talk about. Now, let me take them back to 2016, when we were exiting power. I remember IMF and RBLD, I'm talking of the World Bank, projected that our economy in 2017 will grow by 8% because of what NDC we did. Fortunately and truly, in 2017, the economy grew by 7.8% in their time. They said that that economic growth does not have any retrospective effect of what we did in 2016 and that time. So why are they saying now that all these successes economically that we have chalked came from what they did between 2017 to 2024? I think it's good they are Ghanaians. They should help us to enjoy this economic transformation so that Ghanaians will be happy as they are Ghanaians.
Right.
But they can't openly say that it was within their term, the policies and what they transformed the economy from what they left us in 2024 to 2025, which we have today. So please, it's good they talk. They are in opposition. What they have to do is to talk, is to let Ghanaians know that they are there. But let me say that the illegal mining and other things that they are talking about, this government is gradually solving this matter.
How?
We know it.
How are you solving it?
Gradually solving this matter with the intervention of the NIMOS, Blue Water Guards, and other investment we are making in that ministry. It's helping us. As you speak today, you can go around and see whether people are still mining in the forest reserves.
Is that to say that there are no illegal miners in the forest reserves? Is that what you're saying
yes,
now?
To me, within my area, there's not.
But your area does not represent the entire country, Mr.
Yes.
Afo.
Not that. It's general. It's general. No illegal mining is currently going on in most of the, let me say, the forest reserves. They are not. Water bodies. Where are they mining in water bodies in Ghana here? You see, so they brought all these problems. This will allow us to solve them. They shouldn't make as if that within the 1 year that has brought all these illegal mining activities in the country.
Eric, let me come in here. Let me take you back to the economy. Some are also arguing that, yes, you've mentioned that most of the economic indicators are looking good, but really this happens to be a wind chill economy where everything looks kind of good on paper, but in reality, prices of goods and services are still high.
Please, let's do a direct experiment in the markets as we speak today. Let's go into the market. You see that prices are gradually falling. Goods and services. Services are falling. You see, the value of Ghana cedi is very high. The value of the Ghana cedi can buy a lot of things in this country. That is why Ghanaians are happy. You see, a salary worker now can buy more goods and services, which the constant even remuneration. So it is increasing the standard of living of people in the country. I don't know the basis of this argument, but they should go down there, go to the individual markets we have in this country and ask for the current price of goods and services. It will testify to them that prices are dropping. It's not what they're saying. It's not true.
Okay, thank you very much. Eric Affle is the chairman of the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament. Let's bring you more stories this evening as the Ghana Journalists Association has welcomed the decision to interdict fire officers who attacked a Class FM journalist while covering fire scene at Kaswa. Well, this comes on the back of a revelation by President Mahama that the personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service who attacked a Class FM journalist have been identified and interdicted as investigations into the incident continue. Speaking during a visit to the state broadcaster GBC, President Mahama condemned the attack, stressing that such actions will not be tolerated in a democratic society.
I'm a journalist by training, and so there's no way we countenance, the continued assault on journalists. So we've been in touch with the Ghana Journalists Association on these issues. We put them in touch with the security services. We need a reorientation of many of our security personnel to understand that just as they're doing their job of providing peace and safety, journalists are also doing their job of informing the people as to what is happening. So they are not antagonistic to each other. Indeed, they are both serving the same public. Yeah, so we're working on it. But occasionally these things will come up. But when they come, they must be dealt with, as firmly as possible. The Minister of Government Communication has taken it up. I think the officers have been identified, they've been interdicted, and an investigation is ongoing. But we won't countenance assault on journalists here.
Thank you.
That's President John Mahama there. Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the GJA, Dominic Hology, called on the police to fast-track prosecution of the suspects to ensure justice is served.
We are happy that some action has been taken, and what we are demanding, we are getting closer to that. What we are calling for is for justice for our colleagues, because you cannot do what was done is something that we all have spoken against. All stakeholders, including the president, has told us that it's something that he will not countenance. And so for it to be happening, he himself is worried. If you actually listen to him, he prefaced his statement by saying that he himself is a trained journalist. And so for some journalists to be attacked is something that worries him as a person. And so for us to hear that some action has been taken, we are all happy, and we pray that the necessary processes will be followed for us to get closure to those cases.
And the man at the center of it all, the journalist who was assaulted, Samuel Ado, has been invited by the police to assist with investigations.
I have been called as a complainant to the case. Now tomorrow I am meeting with the police and also the fire service personnel.
And what are you expected to do when you meet them?
I'm only expecting that when we get there, I just want to know that they are the real people. Those who orchestrated the attack will be there. Then I identify them to the police. That these are the people who attacked me.
Are you hopeful of justice?
Looking at the way things are going, I think that there's going to be justice, because my CEO has taken the matter up. So I hope there's going to be justice.
President John Mahama has served notice that persons who are targeting and killing personnel of the Ghana Police Service and other law enforcement agencies will be hunted down and dealt with decisively, speaking at the National Police Headquarters after presenting 100 pickup vehicles to the police service to enhance operations across the country. Well, the president expressed deep concern about recent attacks on security personnel. A police officer was shot dead by unidentified gunmen last 2 weeks in a late-night attack at Karimenga on the Bogatanga to Tamale Highway. The attack also left 2 other officers injured.
That there are some elements who are targeting and killing not only police officers but other security personnel. Recently, we attended a memorial service, a memorial event to honor police officers who had lost their lives in the line of duty in the last 1 year. And several of them had been shot either by armed robbers or other criminal elements. I want to serve notice that the police will deal very ruthlessly with anybody who harms or injures or kills a police officer. We will hunt them down and will neutralize them. And so this is serving notice to those elements. If you shoot at a police officer, we'll come after you. In December 2025, when we handed over 40 armored vehicles to the Ghana Police Service, I made a clear commitment to the nation that this government will continue to retool the service, not with words, but with action. I said then that security requires consistency and not ceremony. Today, with the commissioning of these 100 pickup trucks, we are delivering on that pledge. This government does what it says it will do.
That's President John Mahama there. Let's get more from our presidential affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba on what has been a packed day of activities for the president. Maxwell, before the event at the police headquarters, President Mahama toured some state media houses. He started with state broadcaster GBC, where he revealed that government intends to amend the TV license. Give us some details.
Yes, that was after the Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, raised the concern and said there's a need for a new national conversation on the future of funding for the state broadcaster, proposing that the TV license will be renamed and restructured as a public media levy. Now, according to him, the current TV license regime is outdated. Responding to the proposal, President John Mahama said government is receptive to the idea and intends to amend the existing TV license law as part of efforts to secure sustainable funding for GBC.
Your visit gives us the opportunity to appeal that we need to have a new conversation about how to reposition TV licenses. Some European countries have since dropped the name TV licenses and they have repositioned.
That there are some elements who are targeting and killing not only.
Your visit gives us the opportunity to appeal that we need to have a new conversation about how to reposition TV licenses. Some European countries have since dropped the name TV licenses and they have repositioned it as public media levy because it is not about TV. Now, the BBC that we are so happy to note as a model example of global excellence in public service broadcasting, last year, 75% of their budget was funded from TV licenses. And last year, 1% of our budget was funded from TV licenses. If you compare, you can tell why we are where we are. Your Excellency, we want to request humbly that in the discussion about TV licenses, the name we should look at the name. It's not about TV. It's not about you watching TV. It's about raising funds to ensure public service broadcasting.
There are few suggestions we have with regards to the so-called TV license. And I think that our thinking is going in the same direction to amend that law to make it a public media levy of some sort. And we're going to change the range of that levy so that it's better able to mobilize funding in order to be able to subsidize the work of the public media. And so when we are ready, it will be discussed in Cabinet, but we'll discuss with you what our thinking is before we finally go to Parliament and amend the law. I'm sure that with some of the suggestions we've got, it will be able to raise the amount of funding that it brings in and make you better able to do your work.
And Maxwell, the GBC Director General made an appeal to President Mahama to help the state broadcaster settle its legacy debts. What did he say and how did the President respond?
Yes, on GBC's legacy debt, the Director General disclosed that the state broadcaster has already made payments amounting to 5 million Ghana cedis, but still has outstanding liabilities of 13 million Ghana cedis. The Director General explained that the debt largely stems from electricity consumed by security agencies operating from GBC's premises over the years. President Mahama, in his response, assured GBC that his government will ring-fence the legacy debt and bring it to the attention of the Chief of Staff with the aim of identifying funding to defray the outstanding obligations so the debt does not continue to burden the state broadcaster. We can hear first from Professor Amir Al-Hassan, who is the Director General.
The one that gives us a lot of sleepless nights, Your Excellency, is the issue of legacy debt from ECG and NEDCO. First of all, currently we have been forced to pay it, but I want to make it clear that those debts were not generated by GBC alone. In the past, when there were no difference between government agencies, the military, the police, national security all positioned their equipment on GBC locations, and were drawing power from the same source as GBs. So when it came to a time to install meters, these meters were installed in the name of GBC, and they started accumulating debt with GBC. So when we brought it to their attention, these state agencies simply disconnected and found alternative source, but they had accumulated a few years of debt for GBC to pay. We've currently been paying it this year. We've paid 5 million of it. Currently, we have outstanding of 13.6 million cedis. We are simply requesting and appealing that the government takes care of the legacy debt because we are currently dealing with our current bill. We make sure that we take care of our bill, but the legacy debt is drawing us back.
Your minister brought the issue of the legacy debts to us. And so what I've asked him to do is just to make sure that you keep up with the current bill. We're going to ring fence the legacy debt, And then we're bringing it to the attention of the Chief of Staff to find the funding to be able to defray the legacy debt so that it does not continue to be a charge on you. I'm happy you've started introducing solar. It will help to bring down your power factor and make you pay less so that you can use the extra money to do other things that are important to keep your organization afloat.
Well, still to come in the program, in the first episode of our feature series, Roads of Peril, we take you to Amasaman, where drivers and residents are expressing frustration over the abandoned road network, demanding government intervention. But before that, let's do business.
Hi, Ken. And coming up in business, Social Security and National Insurance Trust increases monthly pensions by an average 10% for this year, pegging minimum payment at 400 Ghana cedis. And banks justify margin of reduction in the Ghana reference rate despite improved economic variables after the last review. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. Sinter's Tanks and Pepsodent, that is Herbal and Charcoal. You're welcome back to business on Newsnight. Now, the Social Security and National Insurance Trust (SNIT) has approved an increase in the monthly pensions by an average of 10%. The move would therefore lift the minimum monthly pensions payment from 300 cedis to 400 Ghana cedis. You have details in the following report.
The move by the Social Security and Insurance Trust is expected to lift minimum monthly pensions and help improve the gains of low-income retirees as it seeks to balance what it describes as social protection with the long-term sustainability of the fund. According to the State Pension Trust (SNIT), the decision to review the pension indexation was taken in consultation with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority and in line with the National Pensions Act. The indexation framework applies a uniform 6% increases to all pensions alongside a redistributed flat amount of 91 Ghana cedis. The structure is designed to deliver higher effective gains to pensioners at the lower end of the scale, while keeping increases for higher earners closer to the headline rate. SNIT attributed adjustment to a combination of macroeconomic and scheme-specific factors, including salary growth among active contributors, a reduction in the inflation rate, and the implication of higher payout for the fund's long-term financial sustainability.
And that is a business text report. Meanwhile, the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, Kwesi Appaigyei, says the decision was taken in line with the long-term sustainability of the scheme. He has been speaking at a news conference in Accra today.
What that means is that at an inflation rate of 5.4, basically the real growth for each of those factoring in inflation is in excess of 5%. The new pensioners coming onto the payroll used to come in at 300 Ghana cedis. That has been increased to 400, another growth of 33% in an era where inflation is at 5.4. Again, testament to our commitment to ensure that those at the lower end are as protected as much as possible to ensure sustainability. And it's in line with our strategy that we would keep ensuring that we will protect the value of the pensions that we pay out, having considered inflation and other variables.
And that is the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, Kwesi Appaigyei. Now, Ken, so based on this development, the lowest person on the scheme in terms of payment is at 400 Ghana cedis. Now, the highest earner is taking home more than 213,000 Ghana cedis.
It's quite a
contributor.
huge
And that's
disparity.
the highest person. So it's all about how much you contribute to the scheme. And so this whole idea about people moving a chunk of their payment into allowance is about what you take home. So if you contribute more, you will end up with this individual who's taking home more than 213 Ghana cedis every month as his pension. Two other stories, and commercial banks have justified the margin of reduction in the Ghana reference rate for the month of January 2026. The rate, which acts as a key benchmark for setting of interest rate by banks, went down by just under 1% from last month. This is despite the improved economic indicators like inflation. The Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Mahama, insists They were guided by the agreed formula and indicators. He's rejecting claims that they are shortchanging borrowers.
As you may be aware, between the two reporting periods for the Ghana reference rates, there has not been a new MPC meeting, that is Monetary Policy Committee meeting. So the policy rate component has not changed from the 18% that was announced in November 2025. The marginal decline in the reference rate, which is the GRR, is therefore driven mainly by movement in the interbank rate and the treasury bill rate. Within the period under consideration, the interbank rate declined by 102 basis points, while the T-bill rate dropped very marginally, just about 4 basis points. So the reduction in the GRR was therefore driven primarily by a decline in the interbank rate between November and December 2025, and assisted on a very low impact level by the marginal decline in the treasury bill rate.
And that is the chief executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa. Now, the Ghana Tourism Development Company says it has rolled out additional measures that would boost domestic tourism in the country. It is coming after the Ghana Statistical Service data showed that domestic tourism spending reached 6.6 billion Ghana cedis in 2023. Here is Chief Executive of the company, Dr. Kobi Mensah.
Well, I don't know whether you have an idea about the what we call the Accra by Night, which is the night tour that we have actually begun. We launched it, the minister launched it, I think in April. Since then, it had become one of the most attractive tourism package in Ghana. And in December, we had the entire December booked. In fact, there had been trips upon trips. But the good news is that not only are we successful with the launch of Accra by Night, but we have also launched what we call the Ghana Tourism Marketplace, which is a digital platform through which people can actually book tourism products and services, not only by GTDC, but also the entire tourism ecosystem in Ghana. So if you're a tour operator, if you're a car rental, if you are a tour guide, you sign up to the Ghana Tourism Marketplace and people can book your service. So as I speak, almost about 90% of the Accra by Night tour had actually been booked from the Ghana Tourism Marketplace.
And that is the Chief Executive of the Ghana Tourism Development Company, Dr. Kobi Mensah. And that's all for News Night. And a little bit is telling me that you could also be taking home a huge amount when you decide to retire based on your deductions right now on the SNET pension.
If I will be taking huge, then you will be taking what?
Nothing. And that's all for business on News Night.
Thank you very much, George. And let's bring in more stories this evening because, first episode of Roads of Peril, we take a look at the Akraman-Ashaleja Amasaman route, where drivers like Stephen Kumi wake up every day chasing a simple dream to earn an honest living. Instead, they are forced to battle deep potholes and frequent breakdowns. Kumi's work and pay vehicle is slowly falling apart, and he's not alone. Drivers and residents who apply this route say the poor road network is turning daily travel into a nightmare. And in today's episode of Roads of Peril, my colleague Paul Ofori focuses on the road network in some communities in Amasaman constituency and the challenges drivers and residents face using them.
It's dusty, uneven, and almost impassable. This is the Amasaman constituency, where large stretches of road remain untarred and have been in this state for years. I meet Stephen Kumi, a driver who has plied this route for a decade, and he says every trip is a painful experience.
Since from inception, this road has not seen a major transformation or something. In the election time, they will come and grade for us. Yes. After that, nobody will come here again.
Kumi is not alone. Drivers here share similar experiences.
We have held several demonstrations and we are tired. During campaign periods, they make many promises and deceive us. But that will not happen again.
We drive through Amasaman 3 Junction, Ashalaja, Ayikai Doblo, Akraman, and Doblo Gono. The vehicle wobbles constantly as we ply the uneven terrain. It takes a great deal of patience and skill to maneuver through this corridor. Like drivers, traders are also feeling the brunt of the poor road conditions.
We are struggling. I buy my supplies from CMB, but because the roads are in such poor condition, transport costs are very high.
About 100 meters from the Ashalaja Bridge, I meet Janet Inkum. On her own initiative, she fills deep potholes with sand, offering a temporary relief to drivers, commuters and residents who use the stretch every day.
No one supports me. Drivers who use this road sometimes assist me when they are moved by what I do. When passers-by feel touched, they also offer support, and I add my own money to buy sand, which I use to fill the potholes.
Ganwa's Municipal Chief Executive John Desmond Soanai admits that the state of roads in many communities is a cause for concern, but assures residents that measures are being put in place to address the problem.
Whereas as a municipality, we are also making efforts to reshape some of the roads by using the drip equipment. But reshaping is not a solution, because when you reshape the road and it rains, it becomes worse. And the more you reshape, it means that you are taking off the surface soil and it's going down. And when you reshape, it makes it easier for the surface to be eroded. But for the networks that we've talked about, the road network we talk about, if these roads are considered, because these are major roads, and this connect to other municipalities, so therefore it makes Accra central and easily commutable. It means that we are diverting traffic if you want to go to Kumasi. So this is not just for farming purposes, it's also a measure to urbanize the other areas to ease the pressure on Accra.
Back in the communities, drivers like Stephen Kumi say their request is simple. Decent roads that reduce breakdowns and restore dignity to daily travel.
It's a manhole, madam.
This is a manhole.
It's a manhole. They have to fix the road. I think we'll have big push or something. Come and look for this one for us.
For Joy News, I am Pelo Furi.
Let's get on to the telephone lines right now and speak to the Member of Parliament for Amasaman constituency, Sedem Kweku Afenyo. Thank you very much for your time this evening. Your constituency, Amasaman, has gained notoriety as one of the places with a plethora of bad road networks. Really, what concrete plans are in place to fix these poor road networks in your area? We have unfortunately lost Sedem there on the telephone lines right now. But let me bring you a view of your messages that you've been sending to our WhatsApp platform. Nana from Springtex Road says, funny how MPP has forgotten that their books also looked good when they inherited the IMF program from the NDC in 2016. They even cancelled some taxes, claiming they were nuisance taxes. Sadly, they are only talking to their so-called supporters currently, and definitely not most of us. Good luck to them. Godwin from Kumasi says, let the minority know that we know the differences between what happened then and what is happening now, what happened under them during their time and the Gold for Oil program. Let them tell us how much debt was incurred between 2022 and 24. Musa Abatua in Aswasa says, it is not every issue that warrants a press conference, especially when there is absolutely nothing untoward to talk about. The minority has clearly lost its sense of direction and is now clutching at straws. And this is Promise from Keta. He says, this is the good leadership style practicing by President Mahama. and I am buying a liter of petrol at 11 cities, 33 pesos. No more 17 cities. Oil of Kufuor gallon is now 500 cities. No more 1,300 cities. Enohina Fianya says the minority should cut us some slack. We saw their abysmal performance in the last 8 years. And this one is also from Nana Kuyamwa Buatin in Ablekuma Central. He says the NDC members are happy that U.S. ICE has detained Ken Oforiatta, really. If indeed they want Ken to face justice, then what about Sedinam Tamakolo, who was found guilty by a competent court of jurisdiction? And this is from Eben in Kwabenya. He says 1 year of President Mahama's government is unbeatable and superb. Compare that to MPP's administration we witnessed under former President President Akufo Addo. Let's go back onto the telephone lines once again and try to reconnect with the Member of Parliament for Amasaman, Sedem Kweku Afenyo, about the deplorable state of roads in his constituency. Sedem, glad you could join me once again. I'm trying to find out what plans are in place to fix the poor road network in your area.
Well, first of all, let me say good evening to your listeners. The people you interviewed from Amasaman are telling the truth. The condition of our roads are not so good. Since we assumed power, I've been to urban roads to chase and see how best our roads can be fixed. I've been told that the road from Doblo-Gono right to Aikan-Doblo through Okushibiadi and Akraman has been awarded on contract. The contractor actually started working from 3 Junction and ended at Doblo-Gono. I had his race certificate and he's waiting for payment. So immediately he receives payment, he will come back and then continue with the road construction. So we are pushing to make sure that he receives his money so he can come back on the road. But for the meantime, we try to do a bit of reshaping here and there to make the road more travelable for commuters.
Right, thank you very much. That's the Member of Parliament for Amasaman constituency. Let's do sports. Benaya is here. What's up?
Yeah, Ken, some bad news for Ghana because Tottenham Hotspur Black Stars forward Mohamed Kudus is set to be out of action for 12 weeks due to a quad injury that forced him out to miss Spurs' English Premier League game against AFC Bournemouth. We have more for you in this report.
Mohamed Kudus faces a lengthy spell on the sidelines, with Tottenham manager Thomas Frank confirming that Ghanaian forward will not return until after the March international break. The 25-year-old sustained a thigh injury during a Sunday's 1-1 draw with Sunderland, forcing him off in the first half and ruling him out for Spurs' next 13 matches.
Kudus is unfortunately a bigger one to the tendon in the quad, so that's one where we expect him back after the March international break.
Kudus' absence comes at a critical stage for Tottenham, who are preparing for key Premier League fixtures against Manchester City, Manchester United and Arsenal, alongside crucial Champions League encounters with Dortmund and Frankfurt. The Ghanaian is also expected to miss the Black Stars' crucial game against Germany in March, a game that is expected to be a test for Otuado's Black Stars as they prepare for the World Cup.
Well, that's it for sports. We really hope that when he comes back, he'll be able to stay fit because we'll need him for the World Cup.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you very much for bringing us the latest in sports. And did you know that breathing in and out in Ghana is no longer harmless? Well, the air many people breathe every day is at least 6 times dirtier than what the World Health Organization says is safe for any human being. And researchers at Columbia University estimate that about 16,000 adults in Ghana died in 2023 because of polluted air. Much of the danger comes from smoke, from charcoal and firewood, and fumes from vehicles. These tiny particles enter the lungs, pass into the blood, and slowly damage the heart and other vital organs. Research Professor Daniel Westervelt of Columbia University says Ghana's air quality has barely changed in the last 5 years, warning that air pollution is an urgent crisis that can no longer be ignored. He spoke to my colleague, Clean Air Beats reporter Michael Ashali.
Premature deaths every year. We were specifically analyzing the deaths for adults. So our analysis looked at adults aged 30 or higher, what is the associated mortality from PM 2.5. So this actually underestimates the total amount, because as sad as it is to say, there is some young, very, very young people that are impacted by air pollution and that don't make it, unfortunately. But our numbers show that in 2023, we had about 16,000 premature deaths in Ghana due to exposure to air pollution. And that's sort of an abstract number. So to put that in something that's a little more understandable, that's about 21% of all the total deaths that happen in a given year. So if you look at all of the mortality in Ghana, whether it's things like excessive alcohol use, or if it's things like high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, all of the ways that folks, unfortunately pass away, 20% of that came just from air pollution. And really that's coming just from people just breathing their air outdoors and going about their business. So it's not necessarily anyone doing anything wrong. It's just by living, just by breathing, just by going about your business, you're basically taking years off your life in the end, to an extent. So it's something that needs urgent addressing, and I know a lot of good people are working on that already.
And this story was a collaboration with New Narratives. Funding was provided by Clean Air Fund, which had no say in the story's content. Now, the Cadet Senior High Technical School tutor who accepted cash to drop assault charges against 5 students who beat him to pulp has come under backlash from his employers. The Ghana Education Service says it is disappointed in the action of Michael Quayson, who initially settled the matter out of court. Well, the assault occurred on October 5th, 2025, when Mr. Quayson was attacked by a group of students for enforcing strict supervision during exams. Speaking to Joy News, spokesperson for the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fenyi, said the incident occurred because the matter was not brought to the attention.
It does. In fact, on the first day of our meeting, Director General himself was quite disappointed that for a serious matter as that, the teacher would settle the matter out of court. We were not excited about that development. We thought that the teacher should have drawn the attention of management so that management takes it up. Because for some of these things, we don't take it up only because we want to punish the student who conducted the act, but we also want to deter others from conducting the same or similar act. And so we didn't consider it expedient at all that the teacher would settle the matter out of court. So when it came to our attention, in fact, that's the more reason they didn't report to us. Management got to know of this issue when it came out on social media, and that is where we took it up. And for us, we were not very happy when we, per our investigations, we realized the teacher didn't want the matter to proceed to court. But thankfully, the state itself has taken over, because for us, it is not an attack on an individual teacher, it's an attack on the profession. And we believe that the entire profession should not be happy about the development, and the entire profession, the entire teaching profession should show strong disagreement to what's happened, for which reason the state itself took over the issue. Yes.
And Daniel, has the Ghana Education Service gotten in touch with the man ever since?
Yes, we are closely in touch with, in fact, even in the processes of the court, taking the matter through court and everything, GES was there throughout. Our reps, i.e. regional directorate, district directorate, and even at the national level too, we have been part and parcel of the entire process.
Tawi and News 9 tonight. Thank you very much for your company. My name is Kenneth Gyasi. Have a good evening.